Hello and welcome to another episode of French Ear Trumpet. I'm Andy from AJ in France and I'm with Colin from French Countryside Life as usual. We come together usually once a week if we can, just to talk about stuff that interests us. It may be French related, may not. But last week and the week before we both had guests and it was Christmas holidays, so we weren't here. So this is our first one of 2025. So happy new year to you, Colin, and everyone who's watching.
Happy New Year to all our, was it 200 and something subscribers and everybody else who decides to watch Anthony.
But if you're watching this in 2030 and there's 50,000 subscribers,
yeah,
you know, this is where it started. This is where it started. Anyway, so first, this time we're just going to talk about stuff that's happened to us recently, plans for the future, things like that. So we've both got a few lists of things to talk about. I think I would like to say basically we've actually covered this once on an earlier episode, but the differences in Christmas in France to England now that I'm got a full-time job are quite different, very different in fact. So first thing that's obvious is that Boxing Day is not a bank holiday in France, is it?
No, it's just an ordinary working day.
That's exactly right. And it's very weird. It's a weird feeling for a British person.
Strange, yeah.
And they don't do the rollover bank holiday business.
No, we actually had our refuse bins emptied on Boxing Day.
Yeah,
it's mad, isn't it?
So I was in the office and they were talking about who's going to be in, who's not. And basically everyone said, look, we're going to be in and around Christmas. There's going to be people in and out all the time. We don't really shut except for Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And I was thinking, hold on, this just doesn't seem right to me, because normally, you know, around Christmas, you might work Christmas Eve, but you have Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then normally then the days off between there and New Year's. But no, it wasn't really the case. So that's the first observation I've got, which is I find very, very strange.
Yeah. What's also interesting, I mean, we've probably talked about this before, but the predilection for seafood over Christmas, certainly on Christmas Eve. So there was we went. It might have been Christmas Eve or the day before, I can't remember. But we went to Leclerc and there was literally pallets full of little pallets of oysters. Yeah.
It's a really, really big thing, especially in Brittany where I am. The oysters, they're just everywhere, in every shop. It's just boxes of them. And it's quite...
I don't even like them.
No, I don't like them either. But it's interesting you said that. I got invited to a New Year's Eve party at a business. Not the one I work in, a different one. And one of the guys I know, he runs it. But also my neighbour goes as well. It's all a group of friends. And he invited me and he sent me a text message saying, look, this is when the party is. If you want to come, how about you bring the oysters?
Okay.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to go, so I'm not going to go. But, you know, everybody brings some oysters.
Yep.
But the funny thing is, and I've covered this before, when I went to I was lucky enough to have be invited to Christmas, French person's house for the whole Christmas Eve, Christmas Day thing. It's just after my dad died. And we went, and the weirdest thing happened. All the men went in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And all the women went in the dining room / living room. And all the men started eating oysters in the kitchen. But the women didn't.
Well,
and apparently that's the thing.
Yeah, I can't think why.
And I sat in the dining room with the women because I don't like oysters, and everyone thought it was well weird. But they had salmon, trout, all the good stuff in there. Why would I want to go and eat snails out of a shell in the kitchen? Stood up. So
that's it.
Yes. So the seafood thing is big, and they usually have it Christmas Eve as well.
Yeah, because we wanted to get some. I think it was salmon that we was going to get, not smoked salmon, but like fresh salmon. and there was a big queue at the wet fish counter, and but the salmon steaks were on promotion, so I wanted to wait, and this lady was clearly putting in this order for the next day.
Right, yeah.
But I was listening to what she said. She must have had 300 people coming to her house, I'm sure. Just the amount of seafood is vast amounts.
Yeah, I mean, it's good if you like seafood, but
Yeah,
if you don't, you're in trouble, aren't you?
no, that's it.
Because they don't do a roast dinner like we do, or Americans do, or whatever,
No.
on the Christmas day.
Mm.
And interestingly, they've never. Well, my brother's wife had never tasted Christmas pudding until she met David, my brother.
That's interesting, isn't it? What was her take on it? Because Kelly bought me 3 little Christmas puddings for one. You know, like the individual Christmas pudding. I always wondered when you go through a checkout and buy you know, things for one person, whether the checkout worker looks at it and goes, "Oh, look, oh."
I think they just see so many in one
Yeah.
day. I just.
Oh. Just put it for one.
Maybe it's because my wife doesn't like it.
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably not.
I think keep telling yourself that.
Yeah. No. Well, she said it's weird because there's just so many flavors in it. Because it is made up of tons of stuff, isn't it? Recipes is like oranges and nuts and
ages, doesn't it? Ages for a year.
So
yeah. Christmas pudding. Yeah, I got 3 in there because I've not been that well over Christmas. We were just talking before we started recording about I was ill between Christmas and New Year, you know, with a sickness bug. So I've not really stuffed myself silly over Christmas. So we've still got like boxes of chocolates here, and we're supposed to be watching what we eat now, but
New Year's resolution.
Not really. Just oh yeah, you know, portion control and all that. Portions of chocolate and Christmas pudding. I mean,
yeah,
I control them.
Exactly.
But,
yeah.
Anyway.
So, what else about Christmas that we find different? Anything else? Holidays when you're working. Right. So if you start work in France, your holidays run from May to May. But for the first part of whenever you start work, you're not allowed any holidays.
So for the first year?
If you started in May, yeah.
Yeah.
But I started in September.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed to take any holiday until May, but I still accrue it.
Oh, okay.
You work a year behind.
Right. So does that mean that you'll only September? So it's 8 months. So you'll have 8 months holiday, 2020. Well, you know, in the next block.
Yeah.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can take unpaid leave, and then it depends on your boss. So I took off the 26th and 27th because that was Thursday and Friday, so I could have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the 26th, I actually worked a day extra, so I worked a Saturday and then just took that day off on the 26th. So to me, it was like the bank holiday.
Yeah.
But the 27th, I had to sign a piece of paper, and they don't have to do this, saying that I'll take it out of my next year's whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It's just the way it is, unfortunately. But the strange thing is that you can take it to your next job as well. So the whole way of working is very strange. That when you're on holiday, you don't get paid by your boss.
Okay.
It's paid by whoever he has his I don't know what you call it, account with. So in the construction industry, it's usually BTP. BTP. And what happens is he pays every month. When he pays you, he pays an amount to cover your holiday pay to a third party, which is a big society to protect you both.
Mm.
So when you come to take your holiday, you don't take it from him, you take it from this society.
So the idea is that should he go bust the week before you go on holiday, you're still going to get your holiday money.
Yes, that's right. And you can transfer it to another job. It gets transferred like a pension.
That's quite clever, isn't it?
Very bureaucratic, but yes,
it
does protect you an awful lot, and you are protected as an employee, a full-time employee in France. You're so protected against anything. I've never seen anything like it, and everything is geared around you working for somebody, so you get all the benefits of free healthcare and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty,
really good.
Really, really good. So that, as far as what have you got on your list then?
Well, it's eclectic, I think is the word we're looking for.
I like that.
Eclectic. Okay. So I was watching a YouTube short, and on the Joe Rogan podcast, he had this guy, and he was an expert on the ocean. If you can be an expert on the ocean, and
probably
say again?
A marine biologist probably is.
Okay, well, he'd be an expert on what's in the ocean, wouldn't he?
Interesting.
The life in the ocean. Anyway.
Not the ocean itself. It's just water then, isn't it? You're looking for a water scientist. So
yeah. Anyway, he said that 25% of the ocean floor is mapped to a modern standard, which means multi-beam sonar and GPS. So that means that 75% of the ocean floor is uncharted.
Wow.
Is to a modern standard. And he said that only 5% of the ocean floor has actually been explored with a remote operated vehicle.
Wow. Why were you looking that up?
It just come on a YouTube short. He was talking about it. I thought that's amazing. I wrote it down. I thought Andy'd be interested in it.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Yeah.
I suppose they've tried, but things are just too deep. Like
they do say, don't they, that
Mariana Trench or whatever it's called is the deepest part of the Pacific.
Yeah, funny enough, I've been noticing. So this goes back to what we were talking about. Is this all a simulation?
Oh, okay.
Right. I've been noticing. I don't know whether it's just because I'm more aware of it now, following a thought about it, but more and more coincidences. So you just said about Mariana's Trench, right? And I was watching a World War II documentary about the war in the Pacific, and they was talking about they showed a map of the aspirations of the Japanese Imperial Army wanted to take all the smaller islands, and there's actually a chain of islands called the Mariana Islands, which is the Mariana Trench, which is, as you know, the deepest point in the ocean, runs just to the east of the Mariana Island.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is, I've been noticing more and more coincidences. So, as an example, sitting here talking with Jane's eldest daughter, Kelly, and we was talking about something. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it was about a pop group. And so I didn't know the answer to the question. So I looked it up and I was reading about it. It was on Wikipedia. And it's in the description about this pop group. They said that I think in 1970 something they went to meet the President Jimmy Carter.
Oh
who has just died.
Yes, yeah.
And it was the coincidence of that pop group coming up, me looking at Wikipedia and looking straight at Jimmy Carter, who's just died. So, I've been noticing lots of little coincidences.
Do you know what there's a word for it actually? Oh, there's a couple of words. I forgot what it is.
Bonkers, I think.
but it's also like if you're going to buy a car.
Yeah. So you see the same.
You see the same car everywhere, but in reality, it's no more frequent than it normally was.
That's right.
But you're just looking for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of a little bit of a YouTube short, I watched one the other day on similar sort of what we were talking about. There's a guy did a quick YouTube short on testing to see if Google is listening to you. So what he did was he got his web browser up and showed you, and he just went to like just various sites that he knows there's adverts on the site. So it could be just adverts for anything. I mean, if I look here at the side here, I'm on a website that's completely irrelevant, and it's got pictures of trucks, heating, plumbing, that kind of stuff that I normally look at, talk about, and all that. And that was what his was like. The one thing he didn't have was a dog. He lived on his own, and he just basically started talking for 2 minutes on dog toys. Just talking in front of the computer. He never moved from the computer, just started talking.
Yep.
And then his phone was there, obviously, as well. And then, would you believe it, the next time he opened his browser, went to the same websites, in all of them, there was at least one dog toy.
Definitely listen.
So whether that was a fabricated video or not, you don't know. But I found that quite interesting, because often, I don't know if you're the same, often you look at your phone and you go, I swear we've just been talking about that.
There you go.
Yeah. And there's adverts for something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it from the other side, if you was Google and you had that opportunity, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. If you've got an Android phone, it's basically you give Google permission to do whatever it likes anytime it wants.
Yeah. So following that on, I've just been about a quarter of the way into the Edward Snowden book on Audible.
Oh, permanent record.
Yes. Really, really good.
Interesting, isn't it?
Really good.
I thought you really liked that one.
Yeah. I won't talk about it too much now because he's only
is he in Hawaii yet?
No, he's just left school and he's just gone through college. So there isn't really much I can follow from that, other than it was interesting that he grew up right in that window of being a young child when the easy access to computers started, and he grew up with it, and he had parents who, you know, fortunately for him, had enough money to be able to provide the resources that he could thrive on that sort of thing, and he had the right sort of brain. So it's all those things coming together. But
it's very, very, his background is super interesting. So yeah, that's definitely well worth a read. Have a look at our episode on books. I really enjoyed that one. Some of the ones you recommended I've read and I thought were brilliant, and some
Which
of the
ones have you read?
The one about that woman,
the 10 the Bucket of Me.
That's it.
It's so good, isn't it?
I didn't think I'd like it, to be honest with you. It was pretty good.
Really? Okay. You did.
Anyway, have a look at that episode. It was really good. I really enjoyed that one. We'll probably do another one actually on some more books because we've got plenty of them, haven't we?
Yeah.
Okay, what have I got?
So one from you.
Electric vehicles, how they perform in winter, because people might be interested in that. I've had a Dacia Spring, and it's been a year now. Would you believe it? And I've done 15,000 kilometers in it.
Okay.
And the winter really does affect the performance of the vehicles. For example, in summer, when I get a full charge, a full tank, if you like, I can do 220 to 230 kilometers. So in winter, like it's dark, so you've got to put your headlights on. Maybe it's raining, and you're definitely going to want your heating on. That drop.
So the question that I'd ask is it because the ambient temperature affects the performance of the battery, or is it the ambient temperature makes you use a lot more energy to keep yourself?
It's a combination of both, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's a double whammy. For example, it's not this isn't true on all cars, but like the Teslas are different, but mine's a cheaper model. When you go to charge it, it won't charge at full speed on the fast charger. So on the fast charger, I can charge at 27 kilowatts or thereabouts. I can get as much as low as 7, just 7 in this temperature. That's the maximum I'll allow it to charge it, because lithium-ion batteries, when they get low temperature, they won't accept as much charge.
Yeah.
So that gives me a range now on a full charge of between 150 and 160 kilometers. So that's a massive difference from 220.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But I mean, it's the tool for the job, though, isn't it? It's it's ideal. It's perfect for you with your circumstances and what you do and what you want from it.
Yeah.
Perfect. If you was a courier going to Scotland every day from London, it'd be no good for you. No. So it's it's the right tool for the job, isn't it?
Yeah. Interestingly, my neighbour's got a Tesla Model Y, and his wife's got a Model X. Is it?
I mean, they're doing all right, aren't they?
And they visit their parents in Alsace.
Okay.
But for people who don't know, you have Brittany, and then you have Alsace on the other side of the country, and it is literally the whole width of France. And they do it via Paris to stop and see family. And they charged it 3 times on the way back. But they say it's not super inconvenient. It's like maybe 35, 40 minutes a Tesla charger, and they can do massive distances. So a Tesla's range is about 400 to 450 kilometers. So it's almost double what mine is. Yeah,
but I mean, it's probably 4 times the price as well.
Yeah, although the prices have come down.
Yeah.
He bought the Model Y for about 30, something like that. 32.
I remember, I'm not sure whether it was Elon Musk or it's someone else that explaining how lithium-ion batteries charge, and he was saying that whoever it was saying that he said that the battery's like a big car park. So he said that when you first put the charge in, when you first put the electricity in, it can just go anywhere. Yeah, and then as it gets more and more full up, the electricity is like a car trying to find a car parking space.
Yeah.
So it will drive around until it finds a parking space and park, and then So I just thought that was fascinating, to be able to visualize that.
That's a perfect way of describing what actually happens. I can go into the technical details of it, but basically there's these aren't one big battery. These batteries are packs, and inside the pack there's loads of little ones, and they all take slightly longer or slightly shorter periods of time to get to maximum charge. So what the last 20% or the last 10% does, some are already charged, but it's waiting for the others to catch up.
Yeah.
And that's why normally, if you're doing long distances, you'll discharge it down to 20 and then only recharge to 80, because after 80 it gets complicated.
There you go.
That's the fastest.
So anybody watching now, I'd say stick around towards the end, because I want to talk about what happened in New Orleans, and that involved a Tesla Cybertruck, potentially, allegedly. So we'll talk about that a bit later, if that's all right.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good. All right, so I've got a question for you.
Go on, then.
It occurred to me when I was out, I was taking Charlie for a walk.
Go on,
Charlie's my Labrador, enormous dog.
Giant, like a
giant Labrador.
My mum said, "Are you sure you went to a breeder and he didn't go to the zoo?" It is absolutely huge.
It is enormous. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so it occurred to me, because obviously we bought Charlie in France from a French breeder. Do you think animals have regional accents?
Right. You probably, yes, this has actually been asked on a show. You probably won't listen to this. James O'Brien on a Thursday.
Okay.
Oh,
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Before I got sick of James O'Brien, I did used to listen to him actually.
Yeah. But he does Mystery Hour.
Mystery Hour, yeah, brilliant.
And that is actually the show of the week.
If James O'Brien just did Mystery Hour, I'd listen to that all day.
Yeah. So basically, the premise of the show is people are ringing him questions, and you have to get an expert on or someone like that who hasn't just Googled
definitive answer. Well,
and some of the people that get ringing in are just insane. Like, really, really.
Wasn't there a professor of aerospace used to call in from MIT or something?
And that, yeah, there was, loads of professors calling.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think even Jamie Oliver called in once. It was a cooking question.
Right.
He listens a lot. Anyway, he probably watches this as well, to be honest.
He does, yeah. All right, Jane.
Yeah.
Love your brownies.
Yeah. So a question was asked, but unfortunately, I don't remember the answer.
All right, so we'll put your answers in the comments down below.
Yeah.
Do animals have regional accents? Now, just to flesh that out a little bit, in the French language versions of Tintin, Tintin's little dog Snowy, rather than saying woof woof, says wawa wawa.
The what? Say that again.
So Tintin's dog Snowy,
when
he barks, on English language versions of the book, he goes bark bark.
Yeah.
But in the French language versions of Tintin, Snowy goes wawa wawa.
I think that's probably more to do with the fact that how the French pronounce that sound as opposed to the dogs themselves having a different sound.
Do you think?
If I had to guess. But yeah, interesting. I really like.
I wonder whether when the grue, like the storks, fly south, when they get down to North Africa, all the storks are walking around, feel like a French.
Boff.
Yeah, boff. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
Moving on.
Go on, you'll go.
Quickly I was looking at one of the comments. It said we did End of the World episode.
Yes.
Enjoyed. And I just want to Monkey Brain Tamed. Who?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Does I saw that the other day.
I forgot about that actually.
Does comment on our videos quite often. And he was saying,
sorry, just to stop you there. What a brilliant title for a channel or for a subscriber. Monkey Brain Tamed.
Yeah, I like that. But there's obviously quite a few of them because he's got 6282 after it, so a lot of people have died.
But it's
still good.
I did actually Google that at the time, and I can't remember what it was about. Just quickly Google it.
Anyway, while you're doing that, he says we were talking about the eruption of the Yellowstone volcano.
Yes.
And apparently it's 350,000 years on average. And so far, this time round, we're already at 360,000 years. So we're well overdue for an eruption.
Yes. Yeah, that's a worry.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty good.
So the Monkey Brain Tamed bit is it's if you can hear snoring, that's the dog under the table. It's asleep under the table.
But definitely not. Yeah, not
definitely
Jane.
not. No, definitely not Jane. She's not under the table. Well, anyway. Yeah, Monkey Brain Tame. So it's all about if your thoughts and consciousness is all over the place, jumping all over the place, and you can't concentrate on anything, you've got a monkey brain because it's jumping around all over the place.
Right.
And, they say that if you cut its tail off, or if you tame the monkey that's in your head, then you can focus and concentrate on one thing.
Interesting.
Monkey brain tamed.
I need to do that. I'm always doing like 2 things at once.
Yeah.
Should really focus on it. Anyway, it's like my videos. I used to do like work on 5 different ones at the same time. But anyway, another comment I just want to mention, a really good one, where we were talking about some the effects of the loneliness and difficulty of being a farmer in France. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
And somebody's written in and saying that the suicide rate among farmers in France is massive.
Yeah.
And he says these young men are often unmarried, live in remote areas, and work incredibly long hours. They have often taken out large loans to buy farming equipment and are confronted with low prices for their produce. They tend to live at home with elderly parents and often deal with depression and problems with alcohol. Each family reunion, they meet up with the brothers and sisters who have chosen to do a different path and see them enjoying their lives. So that leads to a big suicide rate amongst young farmers in France is a really big thing. We did mention that was in response to our video of question and answers about France.
Yeah.
And we mentioned that in there. So I just wanted to say that, and that is true. But it's terrible.
Is there a French, what's the word, equivalent of the Samaritans?
I think there is.
I'm sure we covered this when we did the emergency numbers thing, but I can't remember it.
No, me neither. But I don't think there's an English-speaking one. I may be wrong on that. If anyone knows about one, and there is, please put it in the comments, and we'll mention it in this video.
Yeah, no, definitely will.
Interesting. Anyway, moving on. What have you got anything else on your list there? Of interest?
Oh yeah. So just to come back to the electric vehicles thing. Kelly, Jane's eldest daughter, works for Ford.
Hello.
Yeah, she works for Ford, and she was saying that a lot of the only thing that's made in Fords in Dagenham now is commercial vehicle engines.
Right. So is everything gone abroad then, is it? Or?
Everything's gone abroad, yeah. And Ford are in like a flux state at the moment, preparing for EVs. And the general thought is, because she's fairly senior in her department, the general thought is that they seem to be smashing away at EVs when they're thinking that hydrogen might be the actual one that's going to take it through, into the next millennium or whatever. A bit like VHS and Betamax.
See what you mean, like a rivalry between the two.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you know, but it was only because I think it was Sony had Betamax, didn't it? Or no, Sony had VHS, was it?
Good question.
Can't remember. Yeah.
But it was like similar to Blu-ray and Laserdisc.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So when the two rival formats were fighting it out, it was only the pornography industry that chose VHS that actually swayed that battle.
And then everyone went with VHS.
And everyone went with VHS.
So you think that there's going to be a battle between hydrogen and electricity?
Yeah, I do, because
I'm
aware of BMW spending vast amounts of money on hydrogen.
Well, I suppose it's the most abundant substance in the universe. The only problem is it's really hard to get.
Yeah, and I saw that I think it was Nissan and Honda. They're merging to concentrate on EVs.
Right. Okay.
So it's obviously, such vast amounts of money that single companies aren't, they're going to struggle to
influence it, I suppose.
To influence it, yeah. But I think hydrogen might be the one to look out for, or whether that's the Betamax. Who knows?
Well, we don't know. The only thing we say is it's not here yet.
Yeah.
And did she even give an idea of how long that would take?
No. She just said that whilst they're all talking about EVs, there are some people in places that are places of power that are going, not sure we should be doing it. I think we should really be looking at hydrogen.
Yeah. But I think if you're not on, I think you've got to be on both, at least some of it, because if you're not, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah. I mean, how many people bought at the time would have been a £700 or £800 Betamax?
I think we actually had one.
Yeah.
Because the tapes were slightly smaller, weren't they?
They were slightly smaller. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And they ran at a faster rate or something.
I don't know about it.
So they were higher quality, but they were more expensive to produce, which is probably why they were, taken up with the VHS. Interesting, because do you remember the video cameras with actual VHS tape in it?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So it must have been about that big.
Always reminds me of Only Fools and Horses when Del Boy's got a video camera that's come back from the Crimea.
That's brilliant. It'd be interesting, but at the moment, everything around here is around electrics, electric cars. I mentioned probably in the last video about the Peugeot deal that they do at the moment.
You said about that, yeah.
So for about €120 a month, you can lease, if you like, a Peugeot electric car, which is bigger than mine, but it's not an estate or anything. So it's about the size of a 208.
Right.
2008. Yeah, 208. And that, you'd save that much money normally on fuel anyway. So it's almost like having a free car. Take fuel into consideration. So you could sell your car, keep the money, and then just pay out that every month, which you would have normally paid on diesel or fuel.
Yeah.
And you've got a car that you can hand back when you finish, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's worth looking into. Anything else you got, or should I?
Well, go on, you crack on, and then because time's getting on unbelievably.
Yeah.
You crack on it, and then we'll dive into that New Orleans malarkey.
So I was looking on Facebook, and there's lots of people talking about utilities, mainly electricity, price of, and how they heat their house. There's a lot of people with electric-only heaters that are really getting hit with the electricity. And people don't really know about those little fuel heaters that we've got.
Right, they're brilliant, yeah. They're brilliant.
I just want to say, if you're watching this thinking of moving to France, just spend the money and get yourself one of these little portable heaters, and you buy cans of fuel at the supermarket. And
you said about the. I remember you saying that you tested out the cheaper fuel.
Yeah.
Well, I was in Super U, and they had a sale on for the I think it's called standard fuel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had had a sale on. It was buy one for I think €29, and the second one was half price.
Brilliant.
So I bought 4, and I thought,
nice.
And I thought, I hope Andy's right about this, because I don't want to stink the house out. I tell you what, I can't tell the difference.
No,
I cannot tell the difference.
I think, yeah, it's one of those things. If you're buying the top of the range comfort, zero odor stuff,
yeah,
you can just buy the normal stuff. Just a small tub just to try it.
Yeah.
And the difference is so minimal.
Yeah.
It's not worth the money difference.
No.
And it's only when you
virtually
start
double
it.
price.
Yeah, and it's only when you start it up and shut it down. When it's running, neither of them produce any fumes whatsoever.
No.
So yeah, get yourself one of these little oil heaters. I actually did a video on repairing one. And there's another video in the making, actually, of making one a smart one. So it turns it from a normal one into one that can integrate into smart home systems, and you can use Alexa with it and stuff. So I'm making one of those currently.
Sure.
That's the video.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so that will be interesting, and you can operate it with Alexa. You can just say put on the heater upstairs, and then it'll do it for you.
Brilliant.
So there you go. That's coming out soon. But yeah, in response to those Facebook posts, get yourself a fuel heater and check your electricity tariff. I did a video on that as well.
Yeah.
If you don't live here all the time, and you only come here in the summer, you need to subscribe to EDF Tempo tariff, and that gives you electricity off peak at about 13 cents, and on peak is about 16, I think it is, 16 cents a kilowatt hour. Compare that to a normal base tariff of about 21 cents. It's 2/3 the price, basically.
Yeah.
So there you go. Have a look at that. Anyway, what do you want to say about things?
You're the most pragmatic person I know.
Okay.
So let me just run some stuff past you with this New Orleans malarkey. All right. So I mean, it's a tragedy for the families, and thoughts and prayers and that. But so this guy, they keep calling him the suspect.
Yeah.
Not really a suspect, is he? Because they shot him with a weapon in his hands, having just got out of a car that's mown down 15 people and, killed them. So not really a suspect, is he?
Mm.
But anyway, so they're saying that this guy was, I think he was a reservist in the US Army, worked on IT and so on. Now there's also the guy that shot himself and then blew up a Tesla Cybertruck outside Trump Tower.
Yeah, seen that one.
Yeah. Now he was a decorated Green Beret apparently.
Mm.
And the explosive that he had was half-assed. It was fireworks and some lighter fuel, I think. And for someone with his skill set, that just doesn't add up. Both of the perpetrators got their rental vehicles from the same app. All right, coincidence. They had both worked on the same military base, although not at the same time.
Mm.
The FBI just seemed to have made a proper hash of it. There was a news conference just recently where an FBI spokesman said that the Airbnb that the driver of the truck that went through New Orleans, the Airbnb that he was staying, which is 2 miles away from the scene of the crime, caught fire after he had been shot and killed.
Right.
So, and he was giving all these reasons how that might have happened, like a long fuse and da da da, and it just it just doesn't add up to me. They're also saying that at the beginning of it, they were saying that that they was looking for accomplices.
Yep.
Now because there was IEDs that were dotted around in the area in beer coolers, disguised as beer coolers. And then the FBI came out and said that they're not looking for accomplices now. They think he did it by himself because they had checked the CCTV, and the people that they thought had placed them were just looking in the beer coolers because there's a beer cooler on the street. But that begs the question: if they got CCTV that saw people checking it, why didn't they check the CCTV to see him placing them?
The thing is, they probably have done, but they won't tell you.
Right.
But they can tell you that people have checked it, but they can't tell you what they found out because that might be an ongoing lead.
Yeah.
What if they found someone else dropping them off and they're trying to identify that person?
Yeah. It's just that it's now they're saying that they don't think there's a connection between the explosion at outside Trump International Hotel with the Green Beret and the guy that did the driving the truck down the street in New Orleans. They're saying that there's no connection.
I would, if looking at it logically,
I
don't think there is a connection. The first one, he was recovered with an ISIS flag, and it was terror motivated. So he's been radicalized or was already radicalized. I don't really know too much about that one. The only one I know about is the Green Beret, who it turns out had just found out the day before that his second wife, who he's with, he just discovered her cheating on him with somebody, unfortunately. And they believe it's that because he had a bad, I'm not going to use the word meltdown, but he reacted very badly with the first wife, and this is the second time it's happened.
Yeah.
If he wants to make a statement, the best thing he can do is get an Elon Musk car and drive to Trump Towers. And what can you buy very quickly and handily? It was gas canisters in the back and fireworks. You can just buy them at a hardware store on the way with the Cybertruck you just rented. You don't need to. The risk of trying to smuggle explosives out of a military base or obtain them somewhere else, it makes sense because if it was, let's just say it was done in the heat of the moment, you would do it exactly like that. You just rent a car on an app, pick it up, get the stuff at the local thing, and you must know how to set it up and make it explode with the household stuff. That's what they're trained to do.
Yeah.
If it was pre-planned and a terrorist plot, then you're more likely to have commercial or military grade explosives because they can take the time to plan it and get the. So everything about that one adds up to what it is. I don't see anything else other than that. But the first one, I don't know anything about it. But you're certainly not going to find out any information, especially if they think that there's someone else involved or they're looking to even just trace his family. They won't even tell you anything until that's all been done. So I don't see any grand conspiracy, if you like. It all makes sense, and seeing how investigations work from the inside.
Of course, yeah. That's what I thought. I'd run it past you, to be honest.
They wouldn't have even if the guy, the Green Beret, there's tons more details. There's loads of details about who he is, where he's from, all that sort of stuff, all the background, what was in the car. They've even seen pictures of his ID because they've pretty much sewn up that investigation. They're not looking for anything else. It's not, there's no other avenues to explore. It is what it is with that one. But then the other one, people are asking questions because, quite rightly, they're keeping information back to make any terror inquiry. They will just go to the ends of the earth for it. I used to have a friend who worked in counter-terrorism investigations in the Met, and they have a hotline, as you know, as most security services do, and anything that you've thrown in there, they will go to the ends of the earth of that kind of thing. If you just ring up and say, look, my neighbour is coming and going in his garage. He's been in there for about 2 hours with 2 mates, and it's just not normal. They will go to the ends of the earth to investigate that, even though it's just one small bit of intelligence, but it takes time. So imagine a complex moving investigation like that, and every lead that comes off it. Where did he get the car? What clothes was he wearing? Where did he buy this? What did he do there? Who was his friends, his family? Where he's been on holiday? Who's his doctor? Everything, absolutely everything will get investigated, and it just takes so many people and so much time. They won't release any information until they've bottomed it all out. So there you go. That's my take on it.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Good job.
So I reckon we're probably about an hour there, I think.
Yeah.
Very close to. It just goes so fast, doesn't it?
This is ridiculous, isn't it?
Say that every time.
Oh, actually, while we're talking about stuff like that, what do you make of these drones then? About it's suddenly gone quiet about that, hasn't it?
Yeah, just nobody seemed actually over bothered about it.
No.
Do they? They just I think it could be anything. It could be the modern day equivalent of crop circles, couldn't it?
Right. Yeah, of course.
Possible. It turned out it's some farmer and a plank of wood and some string, or students or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's just drones.
Modern day equivalent of crop circles. That's good.
Yeah. If it was super worrying, I think they would have done something and shot them down or whatever. But they probably want to gather more intelligence on who's flying them and that kind of stuff first. Yeah, interesting. Drones are the future, man. Future.
Yeah. Actually, I see a thing on BBC News, Sky News, that the Chinese have started the first commercial air taxis with drones.
That's superb, isn't it?
Yeah. Mad, isn't it?
Brilliant. I love it. I could just see it coming into land and chopping people's heads off, though. That's it. I need to get my head around that a bit more.
Yeah.
In a densely packed area like London, for example, or somewhere like that.
I did a drone taxi on Tottenham Court Road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you drop me off at the Ritz? No. Yeah. Can you imagine them all landing on in Green Park or Hyde Park, or be like 10 of them at once? Oh no, I can't imagine that happening.
Yeah.
But then
there you go. What do I know?
It looks good though. I'd like.
Yeah, no, it'd be good, wouldn't it? And I think there's a guy in America who's starting the first commercial production of self-fly drones. You know, where you can actually fly it yourself. Proper Jetsons.
Nice.
And I think they're about 190,000.
Well, you think
you don't need
dollars?
Dollars, yeah. You don't need a pilot's license, but you have to pass. This is in America, so I don't know what it would be elsewhere. But you don't need a pilot's license, but you do have to pass I think a 2-day or 3-day course.
My God, what could possibly go wrong with that?
What could possibly go wrong with that? Yeah.
Don't need a pilot's license.
Yep. Darling, good news.
Yeah, I didn't buy a new car. Oh, brilliant. What I did buy.
Yeah, what's this? Excuse me.
Oh, great.
So anyway, I've exhausted my list. I've exhausted my beer. You're on dry January, aren't you?
Yeah, this year I thought I'd do it.
I'm on dry glass.
Dry glass. I did, but it's 3rd of January and it's tough. It's tough.
Struggling a bit. Stay strong.
Stay strong. It's been 2 days. No, it'll be interesting to see. Got other friends are doing it, so we're all gonna compare notes, see if feel better or worse or what. So we'll see. No effects.
Yeah, funny enough, where it was a bit rough over Christmas and New Year. I didn't really drink much at all. And last night I had a good old stiff G&T, and like one drink, I got a bit of a wobbly head. Like,
at least it wasn't absinthe.
Yeah. I've not seen that in the shops anymore.
Have you not?
No.
Interesting. No, I haven't. It's dangerous stuff, though.
I think we must have drunk it already.
That's it. Oh, I just want to add one more thing.
Yes.
I've recently installed it was for a company, so it's a company-wide system, but the internet was provided by Starlink.
Oh, really?
And it's very interesting. It's super fast download compared to normal ADSL copper broadband.
Yep.
So you get about between 220 and 300 megabits download.
That's all you need.
But it's incredibly easy to set up.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this, probably not towards the end of this video, but you want fast broadband, and it doesn't matter where you are. It's not. And it's without contract for €40 a month. Get Starlink, and it's brilliant for that. For a home user, it's perfect. I've set it up for the business because we've got no other option. There's no fiber. The 4G signals are rubbish, and they actually had 2 internet provider boxes to try and get the speed up, and the maximum they could get between the 2 together is 20 megabits. So when I fitted the Starlink at 220, I
couldn't believe it.
And because we got rid of the 2 old boxes, it actually worked out cheaper.
Oh, brilliant.
So they're over the moon. So Starlink is brilliant. Oh, and for New Year's Eve, they said we're going to have a party by the lake that they just bought. And there's a lovely little house there. And they just fitted a new, like a wood burning stove in there and all that. And it's really nice. Said, but we can't get internet because it's in a valley. So don't you worry.
Not an issue.
But for New Year's Eve, so I dismantled all the Starlink at the business, put it in the car, drove it down there, and within 30 minutes had it up and running and providing Wi-Fi for the whole for the whole New Year's Eve party.
Wicked.
And it even named the Wi-Fi for it as well. So it was really good. They really enjoyed that. They could use YouTube, Spotify for the music and all that.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And then they brought it back, and then yesterday morning I reassembled it all and put it back in place.
Actually, while we're in Geek Heaven, so I bought a projector for the summer. I bought the biggest screen I could find. It's 110 inches. The screen it's 10 foot on it. So massive, great screen. So the plan is that we'll have the pool, we'll have Tiki Bar, and we'll have music videos or whatever streaming in the back garden on the massive screen against the back of the house. But you can't project Netflix or any other Amazon video. You can't project it because apparently there's some program in the stream, if you like, not program. I don't know what I'm talking about, but there's something in the stream that stops you from sending it to a third party.
Interesting.
So you can do it with YouTube, that's fine. But if you try and do it with Netflix or Amazon or Apple TV, you just get the audio. You don't get the. And I looked it up because I thought it was me doing something wrong. And there's something in the stream that stops you being able to stream it on, if you like.
Yeah. Interesting. So you're trying to stream it from your phone, are you? Or
So what I do is I link the laptop here into the projector.
Yeah.
And then stream it onto the MacBook, and then stream it onto the projector.
Do you have the projector set as your primary display?
Primary display.
So sorry, everyone watching this is a technical question, but I suppose if you ever come across this, you only go to your primary display. So if you set your MacBook up to not use or your screen as your duplicate display, then your primary display becomes a projector.
Okay, yeah, well, you have to talk me through that.
It's easier to do on Windows, but it's not too hard on Apple. Yeah. But Windows computers, you just click on and then click as primary display, and that's it. Yeah. And it will project onto that. If anyone else has that problem.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I mean, you have to show me that.
It. Yeah, that's the problem. You can't duplicate it.
Okay. Okay. So it's not something in the stream then?
Yes.
It is something in the stream. Okay.
But it will only display on one. But as long as that, you imagine if you had a computer and its only output was a HDMI port, it doesn't matter whether that's a projector or a TV screen, it will still use that because it's your only one. The problem is you've got two screens and it'll only go to one, not both.
But it'll work with YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's not like that.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. All right, you have to talk me through that at a later date.
Okay, will do.
All right, so that was it. The time just whizzes by. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that as much as I have. I really enjoyed that. It's good fun. And if you'd like to give the video a thumbs up, that'd be great. Maybe think about sharing it on your socials and press the notification bell so that you know when there's new content. And maybe think about subscribing if you're not subscribed already. And all that leaves to say is that it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from him.